Welcome to our Two Posh podcast. I'm your host, Gabrielle, and I'm here with my daughter, Marcella.
Hello.
And our Puerto Rican amazing Bernie.
What's going on?
And our DJ Spider.
Oh, hello.
Oh, no
What?
music today.
I know.
My
What
gosh.
was that? I'm a little disappointed. I get a
a-
little disappointed when I don't hear
Well,
some
there's a
music.
pattern to it. I'll let you figure out.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Every
You're so
second
mysterious.
show or something.
It's
so mysterious.
It's the Friday ones.
Oh, is that
I like throwing down for I say the Friday ones. I don't know which ones y'all release, though, to be honest.
Well, today we have a very special guest with us, and we're so excited to welcome Miranda Landers.
Hi.
With
Happy.
Bronzed to Glow. How cool is that? She has a tanning company, but
Really?
not just a tanning company. She comes to you. She comes
like a mobile tanning?
tanning.
So you like custom spray tan, like the spray gun?
Oh, I want
Yes.
that.
I have a
I
studio
do too.
set up in my house
I do
that I
too.
can come to you.
Really?
Mhm.
So
I love that.
that's pretty cool.
So she is going to tan all of us.
So
we do it here. We're gonna have her come to our house, my house.
That's awesome.
And then we're gonna get a spray
Yes.
tan. And
I'm totally down.
I know we're excited
Do
about
you
it.
custom do the tans depending on people's skin tones and all that stuff?
So yes, it's all about skin tone.
Yeah.
Obviously the first time I spray you is probably not going to be a custom mix. I can custom mix colors
Really?
together to give you a color that nobody else has. So,
I like it.
I've been
Yeah.
looking for a nice
That's my
purple,
favorite.
purple hue.
A purple hue.
You know, like grimace.
I can do it.
Eggplant. Very nice.
There is a violet base that does kind of give you a purple tint to
That's
the
what I'm
lamps.
talking
I like
about.
that's the one I like the best.
The violet.
Yes.
Mhm.
Why is that?
I just like it on my skin the best. I guess it because I'm
curious.
olive.
So I'm seeing. I know what that color is, but I'm curious on what that looks like on.
yeah, I
skin.
don't look purple, but
You got a pick? I
No.
want to see what it looks
I mean,
like.
anytime I
curious to see.
tan, I ask for like a purple undertone.
Really?
hmm
In my life, and I did hair for 10 years, I've never
They
heard
do
of
say that.
any part of anyone tanning with the undertone. I didn't know you can custom do.
And there's a
That's-
green undertone. It's just based on
I've
your
seen
undertones. If you have
greens,
red
yeah.
undertone or brown undertones, yellow.
I guess I just didn't. I never thought about that. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever.
Oh yeah, because the hair
correlated-
part, I guess. Yeah.
But not for skin. I know that.
So you
people
can
have-
see the before and after you have. It's like
Wow.
a little purple tint, but that
That's
rinses
cool.
away.
That's really cool. So how long does a tan last for typically?
It depends on your care and your pre and post care.
It's like everything else. It's what you're willing to invest in.
Just like that.
Yeah.
But before I will get all into the tanning questions, I wanted to know a little bit about you. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your life.
Texas, born and raised from a small town called Springtown, Texas. You've probably never
I
heard of
totally heard of Springtown, Texas.
Have you really?
I did. Yep. I used to in high school. I went to school with a couple of kids that lived in Springtown. I went to school in North Richmond Hills. So we drive forever to get
okay.
there. Yeah. So
it. So grew up in Springtown, moved to New Jersey for 6
Random.
years. Yes.
Why?
I always wanted to live like I was going to be the New York City girl and
By
everything.
yourself with knowing no one?
I did.
What?
really,
How
I
did
did.
that go?
I really want to hear that too because that's awesome.
I had nothing to lose at the point. I was partying too much. I was trying to go to college, but partying too much, couldn't focus, nothing. And I was like, I've got to do something. And I took a nanny job.
Oh.
And
Wow.
I was a nanny and lived there for 6 years. Got my college degree, worked, and then I was like, okay, I'll come home.
Really?
hmm
After
I loved
6
it.
years.
Loved
Wow.
it.
Do
I
you miss
still
it?
miss it.
You
I
do?
do.
How
I
often
do.
do you go back?
I
Or do
have
you ever go
not,
back? No?
not yet.
How long has it been since you left?
Almost 10 years.
You haven't gone
Oh.
back at all.
Mm-mm.
Wow. So how did
Life
you
has happened. I will tell you. I got sick and
What
I had
happened with you?
I had cancer.
What
I
kind of
went from
cancer?
the girl that never went to the doctor,
Yeah.
no colds, nothing. And I just didn't feel right. I had weird cycles. Always have though. Never thought of anything about it. But I just didn't feel right. And I called to make an appointment with the gynecologist. And one of them told me to wait a year before they could get me in. And I said, well, I'm having issues.
Yeah.
And-
I don't understand that, by the way.
Yes.
So let me backtrack because I want to follow this. So you went to a gynecologist and then they said wait a year or you
They're
want to
also
schedule?
full. Like to book,
Are they?
I'm trying to find one and I'm having a hard time. Like, because they're like, oh, they don't take new ones or they're booked out like 8 months. 9
Really?
months.
I did not know that.
So it's not an
I
emergency
can't
if
relate
it's
to this
just a
doctor at all.
yearly
So-
thing, but I was having issues and I tried to explain that to them and they came highly recommended. Obviously in New Jersey, I had a doctor, but I hadn't gotten one here yet. And they said, no, wait a year. And I'm like, I know something's wrong. You know your body. And that I've never heard, you hear people say that, but you don't believe it, right?
So if I, without getting, it's up to you how personal you get on here. What were the symptoms you were starting to feel or starting to see or sense?
I typically didn't have a period, maybe once a year, twice a year, which was when I loved that. So I was like, let's not do that. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, your body doesn't feel correct. I can't explain the feeling. You just know. And then I started having a cycle and it never went away for over a month.
Oh my.
So every day you were experiencing cycle?
So you
every day.
naturally didn't have a period, but once or twice a year? Or were you on birth control? Or
never had birth control.
wow.
So your body naturally just twice a year?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It got to that point. It was like maybe 3 times a year.
Isn't that already a little bit
That's
odd?
very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They gave me medicine in
Were
New
you
Jersey.
like super, super skinny?
No. Well,
because
I mean,
sometimes-
I'm at my heaviest. At that point, I was at my heaviest. I'm smaller now. But I was always like, as I was 14 in school and everything. Never an issue. Never had health problems or anything like that. No,
Wow.
not at all.
That's crazy. How long were you having these irregular periods?
So you start your cycle. And it just, as I got older, probably when I hit 18, they started getting less and less
That's
and less.
so crazy.
That is
But
crazy
I
already.
didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't ever have any problems.
So
Right.
from 18 till when? How long had it been before you decide, you know what, something's wrong here?
Maybe 7 years
Wow.
when it really started
What?
getting to 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
It just kind of got slower and slower.
That
and
is
slower.
unbelievable.
And so from the time because I'm curious, the time, because there's the people who are listening to this that may be experiencing the same thing. So from the time you started experiencing 1 to 2 periods a year, that's about a 7 year period.
7 year period.
7 year
Literally.
time frame. From that point on, when did you decide something's off? So for how long were you having periods 2-3 times a year before you decided to go check in and see a gynecologist?
So I saw one. I don't remember how many I was having a year when I saw one in New Jersey to feel like something was a little off, but I didn't feel like anything was wrong. Nothing in my body was wrong. And they would put me on medicine to force me to have my period like every 4 months just to shed that cycle, that lining.
And that did work?
It did make you have your periods. I hated it. It made me have really bad cramps, really bad symptoms. It just messed with me. I hated it. It was estrogen. So I stopped taking it. And then I moved back to Texas, trying to get acclimated back home. I didn't take care of myself. And then I went over a year without having a cycle.
Wow.
But you don't think about it because I'm used to them being slow. And I'm like, oh, I just need those pills again, but I'm not going to take those.
So you get into the doctor and then what happens?
And then she said, oh, I think you're fine. She gives me birth control. She said, just in case, let's go ahead and set up a biopsy in a couple of weeks. I said, okay. So she gives me birth control. My bleeding went out of control. I got weak. I was tired. It was, you want me to get graphic here?
Good.
It was, I couldn't control the bleeding. Like I would go to the restroom and have to push blood clots out.
Wow.
They had to be
I've heard
the
about
size
this
of
before.
my hand.
That's crazy.
I've heard about it
Now, is it
before.
painful as you're doing that? I don't remember. I don't know.
it doesn't.
this subject I didn't know about.
Well, I've never
clots
had a
don't
kid
hurt.
or anything, but no, it didn't hurt other than cramps. And your body, I was weak from bleeding so much.
Right.
I couldn't keep up. Never had anything like that. And so for a couple of weeks, I continued to do what the doctor told me to do. And I went, I took the birth control and I realized that's not right. So we went in for an ultrasound, a vaginal ultrasound. And they almost couldn't do it because I was bleeding so much.
My
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was, So she went in after the ultrasound, did the biopsy, and she's like, oh, you're fine. My lactating hormones were that of a nursing pregnant lady. They had repeated that, and it was still up in the almost 160s, which would be like I should be breastfeeding.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So she was like, you'll be fine. Just keep taking the medicine.
So hold on, let me backtrack because I want to follow all this.
Sure.
So you're having this uncontrollable bleeding for a month, for a while, right?
A couple of weeks. Mhm.
And then you start lactating.
Well, I wasn't literally lactating, but even
The
before they did
hormones.
the hormones were saying that I should be lactating.
So were
my
you
hormones
sore?
were so much.
Were your boobs sore, like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I would have
Wow.
I would have
Okay.
not known had she not had the due diligence to check.
So then she did the biopsy and you got the results, and what was it?
Well, I didn't get the results yet. It takes about 2 weeks. I'm in the medical field, I was in the medical field, so I know how things work. Like, if things are benign, you don't hear for a while. They typically just call you over the phone. And I had a appointment. She had set me an appointment up with an endocrinologist for the lactating hormones, check my thyroid and everything. And she calls me the day before and says, hey, can you come in at 8 o'clock before all my patients tomorrow?
Oh my God.
Well, I work in the medical field. I knew, and that was at the end of my work day. I'm like, I'm at the doctor's office and you're telling me this. I know how it works. We've had to tell people they've had cancer before. We know.
Were
I'm
you
like,
panicked a little bit?
Yes and no. I think I was shocked.
Yeah.
I called my mom and my boyfriend at the time. I'm like, this is what's going on, and I know this is what's going to happen. And this is what they're going to tell me. And everybody's like, no, you're too young. I was 32, I think. And too young. No kids, nothing like that, not married. And they're like, no one believed me. And so I went to the doctor, and no one was in the office. It was before they opened, which I knew already. She had no time in her day, so she had to set me down before I went to the other doctor. And she sat and cried with me. Yeah, it was.
And they said you had ovarian cancer?
I had uterine cancer.
Wow.
She said it was at the earliest stage they do a little punch biopsy. She said it was at the earliest stage so far. They caught it in time. But she said the oncologist office wanted me to wait about 2 weeks because it's not urgent, not life-threatening at that point, And she told them no, that I was in my childbearing years, that I needed to go now. So they had me an appointment within a couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I went to the oncologist.
What was your treatment?
I had a hysterectomy. They did another biopsy, a bigger biopsy, to see if maybe we could just do like a research study and do medicine and weight loss surgery to see if it would get rid of that. So I could still have kids. But they did an MRI and a biopsy, and it was already in the muscle. So there's nothing you could do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we scheduled a hysterectomy immediately. Within a week, I had a hysterectomy. This all happened.
My gosh.
I had my biopsy at the end of March. April 29th, I'm in the hospital having surgery. Like, it moved super fast.
March of
when?
when?
2014.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So did you have to have any additional treatment?
Yes. So turns out when they did my hysterectomy, I'd never had surgery before, mind you. So now I'm having this major surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It went really well for what it was. It turned out it was more aggressive, and it was further along than they thought. And that's the problem with punch biopsies, is what I've been told, is they get a little piece.
Real quick, just to explain it,
Sure.
What is a punch biopsy? Just for
take
someone who's
this
listening.
It looks like a small, short little pin, and it's hollow, and they push it onto the tissue, and it pulls out a little, and it's very small, like a tiny little sliver
Is it painful?
of the tissue.
Is it
It's like a
uncomfortable?
pinch. Like if I reached over and pinched you, that's what it would feel like.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
as you're continuing to, just because first off, I think we'll all agree it's really brave of you to share your story. It's an awesome thing.
Thank you.
No, it
I want to
really,
help
really
someone.
is.
Yeah.
Because, we have quite a few listeners who it's amazing what resonates with different listeners at different times. And I think, most people, when they hear about someone who has cancer, or had cancer, is going through cancer, or going through something traumatic, we're usually not impacted until we're impacted by something, right?
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone of the people who listen to this podcast who today got some news like this, right? Or tomorrow's going to get some news like this. And so this is really awesome that you're able to share your story and experience. So let me take you back. It'll take me back a little bit, or take us back a little bit from you get that call. You go.
I might switch the next one.
What's that?
I feel like I'm blocking her out. Like, you don't exist.
No. So you get the call to come to the doctor's office, cry with the physician.
Yeah, she cried more than I did. I think I was in shock the entire time.
Because you're 32 at this point, and basically she's saying
31 turning 32.
You're never going to have children.
She was hoping that maybe we could get in there quick enough and do something quick enough that we could, because her biopsy showed it was very early.
So talk us through your emotions. I feel like it's obvious to understand what your emotion is, but just for those who are listening, what are you feeling and what are you thinking at this time? So from the time it starts, you get the call, you go, you cry at the doctor, you go to the hysterectomy. a week later?
Or about a month later after everything.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, what are you going through at this point?
So we do the surgery. It was odd. I really didn't have a lot of emotion. When we first met with the oncologist, my mom went with me because they will not let you come alone.
And this is in Dallas.
This is in Fort Worth,
okay,
off of Montgomery. It's the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders. Great place. One-stop shop, valet parking. It's awesome. It's like everything's there.
It sounds like you're getting, because I've worked in medicine for 11 years, and it sounds like you're getting the opposite side. A lot of physicians, they get very numb. Their bedside manner is really bad because they're seeing it all the time. So just hearing this is really cool. The doctor's crying. I mean, it's not cool, but it's encouraging. The doctor was crying through with you. Enough.
Yes.
Can you say who the physician was? The initial gynecologist?
My gynecologist was, oh my gosh,
Sorry?
I'll have to look her up. I don't remember.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's okay. No,
she's awesome. I do want to give you her number because they will. I mean, oh my God.
It's okay.
It's not that important. It's just a good
I
doctor.
put it in the description.
My oncologist was Dr. Vasquez, though.
Okay.
She was top notch.
Nice.
But in the oncologist's office, my mom was bawling. She was crying, and I'm just listening to everything. I think I'm just in a state of shock. I don't really know the severity because I've never had health issues.
Now, do you have cancer in your family?
No, not my papa had lung cancer, but other than that, I'd never really dealt with seeing.
Do you have
anything.
a boyfriend at this time?
At this time, I had a long distance boyfriend.
How did he
nothing
handle
I was
that?
going to ask. Yeah.
I guess he took it hard. We had been together for a while, but I had left him in New Jersey and came here, so it was not a relationship. I knew I didn't want to be there, so I didn't take a lot of. If that makes any sense. I knew I didn't want to marry him. I knew he wasn't the one, but it was weird.
Were you feeling at all more like, I mean, it's really nice to have somebody go through stuff like this when you're going through hard times. We've all gone through our own different types of hard times. Were you leaning on that relationship at all, or were you kind of just...
I probably pulled away more.
Yeah, makes sense.
I pulled away more because I knew at that point I couldn't give someone young, like we were in our prime years, I can't give anyone kids. I thought nobody would want to be with me.
Was that a real
they would
scare?
already have kids. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So after that relationship ended, when I would date, that would be one of the first things I would have to say.
I'm sure that
to someone,
is extremely
I can't
difficult.
have kids. So if you don't want that, and if that's a role you want to take.
Did you yourself ever think I can still adopt or anything like that?
I did think that.
You did?
And me and my husband, I'm married now.
Nice.
So me and my husband have talked about that. But it's now so far in. I've got other focus, and we're so set in our ways that if it falls in my lap, I'm going to take it with open arms, but it's not something I'm seeking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome that you've had someone
No,
that's awesome.
Well, there was a point in time where I thought I would never have a good life. That's all I ever envisioned when I was younger, is being a mom. So when my friends were having children and having their birthdays, I went through such a depression after realizing I wouldn't be able to go to birthday parties, and that affects your relationships because they feel slighted probably. Because I'd say, oh, yes, I'm going, and it get the day of, and I have a mental breakdown.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
It's crazy because that almost seems to affect you more than the cancer did.
Oh, yes, for sure.
That's
going to get me teary-eyed more than talking about the cancer because everything was so easy surgically and medically. The only freak out I had is when I went to the radiation doctor, and they left me sitting in the waiting room the first time for 45 minutes, which is normal for a doctor's office. You're in the medical field, right?
But still going through something like that, you're waiting.
And I went alone, which was probably not the best thing, but I'm looking around me and I'm seeing people that are dying. And I freaked out and I ran. I got up and ran out.
I'd probably do the same thing.
So they had to, literally, my doctor had to prescribe medicine for me to be able to go back. To each time I had to drug myself to go.
So the follow-up care was radiation only? No chemo?
Radiation only. No chemo. He said my tumor was the size of a tennis ball, and had it been a centimeter bigger, we would be having a different conversation.
Wow.
So they caught it and acted just like that.
So radiation and then any other like medication?
No medications. Once you've had cancer, especially a female cancer, you're limited on what you can take. So my oncologist is like, we will treat your symptoms. I'd never needed anything before. So I was like, whatever. Instant menopause. My body's different now. I can't sleep. sleeping medicine still doesn't work. It'll make me sleep for maybe an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I can't have hormones to regulate things.
How old are you now?
I'm 39. I just turned 39.
Wow.
I
I have a friend. I have 2 friends who have gone through breast cancer, and they talk. It's instant menopause at whatever age that is.
It's like
just,
you wake up like that.
No kidding.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
it's
that's awful.
really, really hard.
So they try to leave your ovaries. If they're going to do something like that, if they can, they will leave your ovaries because that's going to produce some kind of hormone to help regulate your body and not have to put you through that. But they could not leave mine.
All right. So I got to be fully transparent because I've worked in medicine for years, but I am anything in the OBGYN female reproductive part. I know
You know
nothing
nothing.
about. I can tell you about fractures. I can tell you about prosthetics. I can tell you about amputations. I can tell you about all sorts of stuff. This is Japanese to me. Truly is. So, wow, this is crazy. This is really crazy.
Wow.
So,
But it's part of my story. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I've just come to terms with that recently. Like, in the past 5 months, I had a big journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the past 5 months, I've realized I needed that to get to this, to get to my husband, to get to this.
How long have you been married?
Almost 3 years. Been together almost 4.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
So you
awesome.
met him almost right after or during?
I met him less than a year after.
Okay.
Nice.
And I met him, remember the boyfriend? I broke up with my boyfriend. We broke up. 2 weeks later, I met my husband.
Oh, wow.
Where'd you meet your husband at? Yeah.
Where do you meet anybody now? Online.
Online.
No.
You did.
Did he slide into your DMs?
No, he didn't slide into.
the
He actually
DMs.
didn't respond to me the first time.
So you reached out to him.
I did. I didn't do that often,
Slut.
but I did. Oh yes. He's like, oh yeah. But he didn't respond to me at first, and usually the few men that I would message, if they didn't respond, I never moved. Something put me back to him, and then he responded.
So how long did it take him to respond?
Maybe after the second time, maybe a week.
Yeah.
It was not long at all. We were.
And you met and hit it off right away?
When he walked out to me the first time we met, I knew I was going to marry him.
Really?
And it put everything in perspective. He is not my type. Nothing like I've ever been with. But I knew.
You just knew. And it's been good.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, yes. Marriage is very hard.
Dude,
I love him more than anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't. There was the first year I thought we were not going to make it. I'm his third marriage. I'm his third. He's my first.
Is he older?
He's older.
Okay.
Mhm. He's 43.
Oh, that's not that.
Not much older,
Yeah.
but he's older.
Marriage is hard, and I don't count you two because y'all are not normal. But
They're not normal.
For preference, I'm talking about Gabriella and Patrick. They're not. They're like a unicorn.
They are.
But marriage is. I mean, I've been married before and divorced, and I'm tell you what. Even in relationships, I mean, marriage is harder than getting shot. I would sometimes I would have taken another bullet over getting shot.
I agree. I'm like, I will never do this again.
Oh my God. I've never heard that before.
I can get away with saying that.
I get
You
away with
can.
saying that.
We're on the
no.
same page here.
Yeah,
But
no,
it's
but-
worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. It's well worth it. I couldn't live without him now.
Yeah.
But
So
yes,
tell
it's
us
very hard.
how you went through all that, and then what brought you to the
Spray
tanning?
tanning?
Yeah, how'd that happen?
Because
Okay.
you seem like you are. It's a new company, but when I watch you and when I see what you post, I'm like, she is so passionate about it. I love it. So it's
It's
kind of almost
everything.
like everything came. You went through with all these things that you went through, and now you.
That's
kind
not
of
all I went
found-
through.
What
Oh,
else
what
did you
else?
go through?
But wait, there's more.
No, really. After I had cancer, my health, it was just like I met my husband, things were good. I could tell my body was different immediately. My health went down and no one would believe me. And I had great care for my cancer. But you know how you hear people say, something's wrong with me, my body's not the same. And the doctor's like, you're fine. And you're like, I know my body, but you're not the typical study. I kept saying things like that.
What else happened?
I thought I was having a panic attack one day at work, and it just wouldn't go away. So I called my husband home, and he took me to the hospital. It turns out I had a gallstone, which is
Oh, ow.
I didn't know. I thought it was a panic attack.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I had waited about 6 or 7 hours before going to the doctor, so I passed one, and that was the pain.
Oh my God.
So
my
it was-
goodness.
I couldn't go home. It was immediate hospitalization.
yeah,
surgery.
that's an immediate surgery.
Yes.
Holy
And so then I had
shit.
another surgery to remove the stone after the gallbladder surgery.
How many stones do you have?
Just no one that I know that I passed. I don't know. I was so out of it with the
God.
hospital.
That's crazy.
Worst pain I've ever had
Oh, I've
in my
heard.
life. So afterwards, the pain, like the hysterectomy was nothing. I was up walking within an hour and they're like, please take the wheelchair. You need to go. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. But this one was like, oh my gosh, I was screaming. But they used the same incisions from my hysterectomy. So what happens? I got a hernia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and which is normal. It's not anyone's fault or anything like that. So that happened in October. In February, I was having hernia surgery. So they went in and put a mesh in and did that.
Where are you having your surgery done at?
Texas Health Alliance. And I did downtown for my hysterectomy, Texas Health. Mm-hmm. Yep. So everything's fine. Then I had the hernia, was in the hospital for a couple of days for that. And 6 months later, it reopened. And my doctor didn't believe me.
Really?
Oh my. No. He didn't believe me. So I went to another doctor.
6 months later, the hernia opened or the incision site?
The hernia. I had another hernia. I had a bulge. And I'm like, I know what this is. Something's wrong with my body. This is not right.
What is a hernia? I don't even know.
It's where your intestines push through your lining.
There's a lining there, like
a muscle.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, what'll happen is that it could be from anything from.
You can be fat
from working out, from anything. If you're pushing too hard, it can just push itself through the. It's because it's like a mesh of muscle. It can actually squeeze through your intestines, whatever could be sticking out.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and
so in my case, I'm overweight, and then that part kept being reopened, so it was weaker.
Oh,
so it was able to push through, and then
so push through the. So did it go from? Because once, so just if they have a hernia and they open it up to go repair it, you have to take if it's right down the ab wall here, they take it and they surgically string it back together, right? But they'll put a mesh behind it to reinforce it. Then they'll close up over it. So does that make sense? So they basically put a mesh underneath it. They tie it back together, and just this mesh, it could be Vicryl or some synthetic polymer or something. They just tighten it and basically sew it into there. Essentially, it's pretty it's evasive, but it's very common. Did you have your hernia back away from the mesh, or did it go through the mesh?
It was the same spot.
No kidding.
So that doctor didn't believe me. And so I was like, I told my husband, I'm like,
this is a common denominator in the story. The doctors never believe you. Oh my goodness.
So I went to, we found another doctor. And they took me in immediately because it hurt. It was very painful, and it seemed to be getting bigger.
Could you see it though?
Yeah,
that's the part.
That's how I knew.
You can see it. It's not like it's someone
It was
saying,
like a little hump.
I don't feel anything. Yeah, it's a little bump. You'll see. I mean, it would be like this sticking out. Like it really is. So it's not something that you can mistake. Yeah, you can't mistake that if it's there. It's protruding out. That's crazy.
The original surgeon's like, that's scar tissue and fat, and I'm like, you know your body. So I tell everyone, listen to your gut. Find someone that will listen to you because you know. So I found another surgeon, and it turns out the mesh had folded and twisted.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah. So they put
So you didn't secure it down really well then.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I can speculate.
Clearly.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
And now healthy. Is that it?
I'm like afraid to say.
I went ahead and did a cosmetic surgery just on my wrist to go ahead and had met my out of pocket and everything. But yeah, so far, yes, other than depression, anxiety. Once all that happened, I quit working because I had to miss so much work. I was a billing manager and the only billing manager for a specific practice. So I couldn't not miss. And I went psycho. I will tell you, it was a very big mental game.
I believe it.
I had a lot of depression and anxiety was through the roof. I had been on pain medicine for years, and I was just like crazy. But I had my husband back me the whole way. I would go psycho on him, and he'd be like, "Okay, you know." And he never wavered.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh wow,
that's awesome." I think that when spouses can support someone that is going through something like that, it means.
He had every right to leave me. Mm-hmm. He did. I would not have blamed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these past few months, so I stayed home. It was what was best for our marriage, obviously my health, just to kind of recoup myself. But he works out of town a lot. So what do? I'm home, no kids. All my friends work. I wasn't raised to stay home. I was raised to have an education and go to work. And that's what I always did for my adult life. And I have 3 dogs and a quiet house.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 Cocker Spaniels and a Boston Terrier.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
They're kids.
I'm a dog guy. So.
They're real. I am too. dog woman.
So now you decide to get into spray tanning.
So in my dark time, I felt ugly. I was over 300 pounds.
Wow.
And I knew I needed to lose weight for my health, but I couldn't. I'm going through menopause, so it's that much harder to lose weight.
Wow.
I did nothing. I was an emotional eater. Food. If I was sad, I wanted McDonald's. Like, that was my comfort. I was alone, and it was just weird. I felt useless. I felt like I wasn't contributing, that I was just a parasite on my husband's back is what I felt like. But the only thing that made me feel good was going to get a spray tan. It gave me color.
I believe that 100%.
Yes.
1,000,000. I can attest.
That's really funny. Yeah, no,
there are days I
compliment
look sick, and then I go get a spray tan. I'm like, oh, hi.
Hey, you.
I feel so much better. That's all I needed. I'm not kidding.
People are like, it's silly or whatever. I do my lips and Botox. I do all of that because it makes me feel good. But spray tans, it's weird, and people can say what they want. It saved me. It made me still feel like a woman. It made me feel pretty, and it meant a lot to me, and I became very passionate about it. Well, I was tired of paying for spray tans. They're expensive, very expensive. And so I told my husband, I said, why don't I just buy my own equipment and do it at home, and that's going to save you money in the end. Big upfront cost, money in the end. And with the equipment came the training. I didn't know that when I bought it. So I went to the training, and I had an epiphany. I'm like, I need to help people. And I know I'm not helping you by saving your life with surgery, but I feel like I'm helping people feel beautiful.
Better.
Yes, oh my gosh.
It's like a thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helped me and touched me so much. My depression has gone.
Wow.
Not all the way. Obviously, you have some
moments.
sorts. Obviously, anxiety is way lower. I have passion. Like, I'm a different person for my family, for my husband, and just in general.
I mean, spray tanning, it's a huge thing because, I mean, if you get married, a bride, I mean, the whole bridal party, they all want to tan.
I work with dancers. I like for them to be tan before they go on stage.
Even as brown people like to
pageant girls. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Auditions. I mean, you've got to look, and I think with the whole tanning bed thing, like, going away, like, people
there's
don't.
Another cancer thing. I was like, no, and I don't tan well anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's scary. So,
man, I'll tell you what, I used to work with a lot of patients who had Mohs types of procedures. Mohs is cancer of the skin, and it is crazy. I mean, it's anyone who is dealing with any kind of potential cancer of the skin that you see a dot or something, get it checked out because it can turn into, I've seen it break. I mean, I've seen someone with a skin cancer on their head that ate through to their skull. And it's cancer. And so so that's
I mean, I had a baby mole removed like 2 weeks ago, and that hurt. Like, not at the time, but I was like, I looked at it later and I was like, there's a huge hole like in my arm, and that was just a mole removed.
Yeah. Yep. Imagine having it eaten away. Like, it's stuff like that really happens.
Yeah.
But just, I think we can all agree from different shows we've done. I mean, who's to say, I wouldn't discredit tanning at all. And I really wouldn't discredit, even jokingly discredit it, because there's different ways and therapies and different things that make people feel good. So some people work out to feel good. There's different, if you go through the medication side of it, there's different types of antidepressants that work for people, that don't work for people. There's people who, go nature hiking and stuff like that. There's people who smoke pot. There's just different avenues of it.
It's correct.
But, it's the same thing. If that helps someone feel just a little bit better in a shitty world where we all have to deal with shit.
Not to
all
mention,
the time, right?
if you're a female and you have like any sort of like cellulite, or like they say tan fat looks better than pale fat, and I think that it is a true.
I have pictures that she will look like she's lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, it is a thing.
In 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute transformation.
So tell us, when you come, take us through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, you come to us, then do you bring a tent?
I have a tent. I can carry it all in one swoop. So I have a light little machine. I have a tent. I don't bring a light right now, but I have your exact ring light. And I have a fan that pulls in all this overspray solution. Not all of it. There's a little bit, but so your house does not get messy.
So do you tan fully naked? Like,
that's up to the client.
Oh, so you can either wear something or not. Mm-hmm. What do most people do?
So at the very first time, usually women are conscious, especially if they don't know me. So
guys
I have a bra and
strip
panties.
down,
I don't do guys.
The first time. Oh, you don't do men?
I have not yet, unless I know the woman. I've had
I'll
some
be
guys.
first. I'll be first.
Bernie and
No
Gino.
strange guys because
Gino's
I've
only
had
a
some
little
creepos.
strange. He's just a little weird.
so if I know like the husband and the wife's there,
Yeah.
that's fine. But I've had some strange men, and all spray tanners will get those
Men are
DMs.
strange.
Oh, yeah,
you
some
get those
creeps.
DMs.
That's
Really?
so- oh, I could imagine. Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
And my
Yeah.
husband works out of town, so I'm going to your home alone, or you're coming to
Oh,
my
yeah.
home.
Oh, wow.
Scary.
Okay.
Mm.
So
That makes sense.
You have
Got
to be
it.
very careful.
That's
so
true. I
I'm,
didn't
I'm
That's like
think
a
about that.
safety thing.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that.
So you
Man,
have to be very careful.
That's crazy.
So I just bring all my equipment. I do a color consultation, and I'll probably will ask you a few questions up
Yeah.
front, so I know what colors to bring because I can't just tote
Yeah, right.
all 30 bottles.
So what? Just you don't have to go through every single question, but like, because this, I'm serious. I've never heard of a color consultation for tanning. All I've known is people go get
It's
spray
come a long
tan.
way.
They
It has.
hold it like this. They do this and stuff, and they get tan. So what do you ask? Some of the
So
questions
as
you
far
ask.
as a color consultation, anyone should have that. If your spray tanner doesn't do a color consultation with you, run
yeah,
because your
Run
skin
and call
tones are
Miranda.
different. Yes,
Immediately.
Thank you. I can spray the same color on all of you, and you're all going to be different,
Different.
colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally different colors. And your undertone is how that color is going to look. So certain colors and certain, like the violet and the gray base and all that, are not going to work on certain colors.
Sure.
So a very fair person, that violet is going to turn them purple,
Yeah.
but it's going to rinse off. But
Yeah.
you want, it depends. Do they want a golden glow? Do they want a deep brown?
You want to look like you came from
Does anyone?
Hawaii?
Well, you look orange. That's everybody's biggest concern.
So no, I think it's come a long way. It's called DHA, dihydroxyacetone, and it's come a long way. That's the ingredient that turns you colors. It gives an illusion of a color, and it's come a long way. So you have different percentages that are stronger to lighter. Obviously, the lighter skin tone, or depending on what color you want, the more or less you use. You'd have to really oversaturate someone with the DHA to turn them orange, or use a weird color or some kind of pH balance reaction. I think more of the over-the-counter solutions, not all of them, but the cheap over-the-counters where you get your orange glow from.
yeah.
And-
What is?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I've heard of vegan tanning. Do you do that at all?
So
Like people who are
So
into
there's
that?
a big misconception. I'm so glad y'all brought that up. Spray tanning has the solutions. Most of them, each one is different. They have all natural products. There's no such thing as an organic spray tan. Do not pay more for organic spray
Really?
tans.
Where do we just have this
They have
conversation?
organic ingredients.
Was it when
I
we were
know.
with Carlos, the CBD? When we were talking? No,
Oh,
that was,
maybe. I don't know.
You
I
can
don't know.
add CBD. That's legit.
Oh,
What
There
would
are-
that do for it? Oh,
You can add CBD in tanning? Who knew?
What
You
would
can. There are
that do?
drops to add to the solution. So just what CBD does for your skin. I mean,
Dude,
obviously,
that's
yeah.
really cool.
So just what that like they use in
So is
skincare. I've
this
never tried it.
Unhealthy?
Spray tanning?
Yes.
I don't believe so. I think there's all natural ingredients. There are preservatives in it, which is why it cannot be organic. Because
That's
there are
interesting. I
certain
didn't God, there's things I didn't even think
preservatives.
to
'Cause they
ask
have
or
to
know
last.
about this. Yeah.
It doesn't. There's not a lot of preservatives, depending on the solution you
Yeah.
use. Everybody uses something different, but depends on how long it lasts on the shelf. It doesn't last for a year. Once you open that bottle, you've got to use it within a certain amount of time, depending on the manufacturer.
And how's the smell?
Depends
That's a
on
great
the
question.
solution.
That's a really good
Because
question.
I feel like when I go to Planet Tan, I call it, I smell like, which I don't care. I'll do
It's
it
called
anyway.
the DHA smell.
Oh, yeah. I smell like burnt waffles.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I love waffles. Don't ruin waffles for me here.
I
Burnt one,
swear
not
I
burnt.
smell like syrup and waffles.
I want
and I
breakfast
will
afterwards every
still-
time.
And I don't care if you're with me. I'm like, I smelled today, and you're just gonna deal with it. And
That's so funny.
now, once you
Ruin
do your
my
first
sheet.
rinse, does that go away, or do you continue
oh
to
yeah,
smell it? Okay.
no, I feel like Planet
you sweat?
Tan. I will shower one time, and I can still smell it.
Okay, so I want to. This was very interesting
Yeah.
because I did not know this when I researched your page. When I go tanning, I leave it on whatever, and then I take a shower and I wash my hair and all those things.
Same.
No, wrong. Tell
Oh,
us.
what do you do?
Tell us.
Y'all are
Miranda.
washing your money down the
The-
drain, and I love people like you. No, I don't. No, I don't. No,
What is the
Yes, she
actual
does.
care?
Yes, she does.
Yes. tell
No,
us.
because that's a
care.
bad spray.
Oh,
So your prep and your post care are so important.
Tell us about all
Yeah,
that.
I need to know all
Enlightening.
this.
This is really
I can
enlightening.
give you a beautiful tan, but if you're prep and post, it's gonna go.
tell us.
So
no,
your prep pray, you want to exfoliate.
I shave.
So you want to exfoliate and shave the day before.
Okay, yeah.
get all that dead skin
Not the
off.
day of.
Not exfoliating. You have to be very careful.
Why?
Because it can.
Rinse your pores.
Yes.
Is it open too much? Is that
A
bad
little
thing?
bit too much. Yeah, you want to have fresh skin, but
I've
not
always
too
done it
fresh
right
because
before.
it can create dots.
No kidding. Do you
That's
ever
why.
see dots?
Yeah, my
Yes.
legs.
Really?
And I
Yeah.
think because I will
From your
literally
frustration.
shower, shave, scrub, like, and exfoliate as much as I can, and literally go straight to go.
Wrong.
Oh, girl.
But it, almost seems,
Oh,
but
girl.
it seems like it makes sense
We need
to do that, right?
Spider's wrong button.
I didn't know that.
Do you notice like a lot of dots, or
No,
just a couple here?
It gets in your pores, is
Yeah.
what it
Just
does.
on my legs, and after I shower, it's gone.
Yeah, you can kind of get that off. But a lot of times you go spray tanning and you still have to go about your day, right? You're
Right.
not just, and you have to leave it on depending on the solution, how long you leave it on while it develops.
Mhm.
So some solutions are 24 hours
Wow.
before you can shower. So you have to think about that. So you
Yeah, I
want
always
to
go at
exfoliate,
nighttime.
shave.
What's that?
I always go at night and then sleep in it.
Anyone I've ever known has always done it at night. I've never known anyone go in the day to do it. But how long does your
So my solution, I
Yeah.
have the best solution. I
Of
found
course you do.
something awesome that is not mass produced. Gives the prettiest colors. I didn't use it at first and I have ambassadors, so I practice on them because I get free tans.
Right.
So I practice. They're my little subjects.
So before we go on to it, let's finish. Tell us
Yeah.
about the
The pre.
after.
Okay.
Because now we know the pre, what to
So
do.
no, and also with waxing, you want to do that 2 days before
Okay.
because you're taking off that first layer of skin. Your
Interesting.
DHA sticks to the top layer of your skin, and so if you have dry skin, it's going to be a dot. It's going to be a
That's
dark
crazy.
dot that doesn't go away.
wow?
If you don't exfoliate good. So I can always tell how much prep you've done no matter what you tell me.
Wow. And so
I
then
know
So
you're
you
lying.
actually have liars come to you and go,
I
did
do.
all that?
I
So
do.
then post. So you're saying we've
So-
done it wrong.
But also now we know how to prepare. Say people come to you and you don't have to come to them. What do you wear? It's always so complicated too. Like what should you wear, because that's important.
Dark, loose clothing. Darker clothing just because if you have an instant bronzer, there are clear solutions out there where you won't see it. The color develops over time. But if you have a solution with an instant bronzer that gives you that instant glow, it's going to move around and it's going to get on your clothes. 90
So-
times out of 100, they just wash out.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I get it all over my white carpet and my tan room and everything, and I just wash it up.
Well, also I've been spray tanned before, and I went to get dressed, and she was like, "Please do not put a sports bra on right now, because you're gonna ruin to
You
you
ruin
guys. It's artwork."
Mhm.
So she was like, "Am I watching you put that sports bra?"
You're
on?" I was
watching
like,
them ruin it.
"Yes, ma'am." So I put I went
So
braless.
typically you want to go braless, but because if you put anything tight on it, it's going to create a line. So I can always tell if you put tight pants on, there's a seam down your down your leg, just a straight line. So looser clothing that's not going to, it may move that initial bronzer around, but it's not going to affect the tan underneath.
So now aftercare.
Aftercare. So depending on the solution, and your artist should tell you this, you're going to rinse with warm water. No soap. Don't wash your hair.
No.
I've done it wrong since high school.
How do you do
I
it?
freaked out.
Oh, I will
When I
sleep
read
in
that.
it, and then right when I wake up, I feel like that's my time to do all of it.
Yes.
So I
Wash off.
everything.
my
I
hair.
shower.
Same.
Wash my hair. All of it.
So
Wrong. Again.
Wrong.
So why not shampoo your hair and all that stuff?
because certain soaps and shampoos are
Or
harsh.
strip it.
And
Yeah.
they're going to strip it.
Makes sense.
So a bar soap is so bad for you when you have a spray tan.
Yeah, I don't use that.
even anywhere throughout. But I don't know what kind of shampoo you're using. If it's sulfate free,
What are the best
and all that.
shampoos you use? Sulfate free?
sulfate free,
I use that anyway.
paraben free, gentle. But not that first time, because you want to let that continue to develop and set. Yeah, just a warm water rinse, and then dry and
So
pat dry.
interesting.
Don't rub your arm with
I
your
do
towel.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't rub your arm because you're rubbing off. It's just on that outermost layer of your skin, so you're just gonna flick it off.
And we're talking the first 24 hours?
And
Yep.
if you do all that, how long can it last?
So you want to hydrate twice a day with a spray tan friendly lotion. There's some really good ones out there, and depending on the solution and your care, I can make mine last 2 weeks.
Oh, what? Mine is like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, most.
Girl,
Oh, I
Girl.
can't wait.
Yeah, because when I wake up, and I don't even feel like I have to put much makeup on
No.
when
I know.
I get it done. I
No.
just feel I look healthy.
Yeah.
it's a pretty
Feel
glow,
better.
like you've been
Yeah.
on vacation.
Oh yeah.
That's what it feels like. Like you feel like you just came back from the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
do
cool.
you guys, do do you guys tan outside?
Outside?
During the, like if it's summertime. Let's take spray tan out of it. So do you guys tan outside? We lay out and all that stuff. Do you cover your face?
No.
Do you tan your face or everything?
Yeah, but I wear like makeup with SPF in it because obviously we've had that skin conversation last time with Roxanne, but I will tan everything. I mean, my face,
you don't hold back.
Mm-mm.
What about you? Do you cover your face or anything? Same thing. So this seems like the better, healthier route for our skin.
Yeah.
I have an important question. Marcella will find this very important. I heard there is a color that is called Cocoa Beach, and J-Lo wears that. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
I want that one.
And it just so happens I carry that solution.
I want that one. But here's my question. Would it look good on my skin tone?
Yes, it's good. It's a honey. It's like a honey
I know
color.
it would look good on my skin tone because I am too
J-Lo.
Puerto Rican. So
Yes, J-Lo and Kim Kardashian.
Oh, well, we
And,
have to have that.
The Victoria's Secret model, Adriana.
God, I'm so glad I broke up with her. So annoying.
I was going to ask you one more. Oh, do you do the contouring?
So I haven't learned that yet. I'm still new, so I have not tried that yet. But that's my next step because I would like to do the bodybuilders and the contour.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I mean, I can do a little bit of Swift, but not like an airbrush contour and give you abs. Yet.
And do you have
you'll do it.
what's that? I've seen some people do that shimmer.
Oh yeah,
I do. I have a spray that I can spray on you that is glitter, but it rinses off with your first rinse. But I use a drying powder afterwards before you get dressed.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And mine has a shimmer. You can get them in matte, but a drying powder sets everything. You smell good.
That's what I was
you
going to say.
smells.
It's
There's all this stuff I had no idea there was so much detail
it is.
into spray tanning.
Typically, it was go to Planet Tan or Palm Beach Tan and use stands.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yes. And you can mess those up. That's so easy. If you stand the wrong way, just think about it. You're standing and hopefully you're getting in the right position and it's just going to squirt a bunch of stuff at you.
Yeah,
exactly.
When I'm desperate, I'll do it.
I've done it's been 10 years I did it, but I've done the foams that you buy like at the Neutrogena or whatever.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, well the thing is that I didn't know to wear gloves, so I had orange hands. It was awesome.
I always have orange
I had an orange
hands.
hand.
I'll get so in the flow like on Thursday's considered tan day because that's when you want your tan for the weekend.
Oh, how
so
fun.
I'll have like 15
then.
15 girls in a day, usually all afternoon. So I'm just like spraying and I'll take my gloves off, forget to put them back on. So I always have it.
Orange.
And then I get it right here and I'm like, I've just got to keep going.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's crazy cool.
Good to know.
So tell us where you're located if someone wants to come see you.
So I'm in Fort Worth. I'm in the Alliance Keller area. Is where like my tan room is in my home, but I'm going to actually, that's what I'm hoping is going to set me apart. I will travel all over DFW.
I was just going to ask.
For no extra charge.
Wow.
Just my mobile fees, my mobile's fee.
Okay. That will definitely set you apart because somebody I knew, it was just so they were in Dallas.
Complicated.
And for me to go there was fine, but then for her to come to me, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much more expensive. And
it is.
Me going all the way to Dallas, I was like, I'll just go to Plano somewhere.
So give us your on social media stuff people can find you.
Okay. So on Instagram, it's at bronzed_2_glow.
Yeah, I need.
And on Facebook, it's bronzed to glow. BRONZED.
So I can't thank you enough. This was awesome.
Ma'am.
But now we have to go to our segment, Miss Polly segment, please. And we're not calling because she is.
Are we
not
doing
available.
question of the day first?
No, Miss Polly is always first.
Oh, she is?
What's up?
Polly.
I think we've not done her for so long.
This is Penis and Pussy Talk with Miss Polly.
Oh, it's me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's certain sexual fantasies, and being dominated is one of them. And this is Miss Polly's answer to this question.
Being dominated. This is probably the most common sexual fantasy. Why? I personally, Miss Polly, not me. I personally think it's
a little bit of you. But,
who knows? Maybe. I personally think it's because as modern women, we have been told that we have to be strong and independent. We sometimes would like to be the one not having to make any decisions from what to wear or how to behave. We relinquish all control and let someone else take the reins. For once, we can just feel. I also think it's because of that damn book.
The what book?
That
50 Shades.
50 Shades of Grey.
God.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like, yeah, I mean,
Come on.
like-
Let me tell you something. In a normal day setting, it's not to do with the question, but in a normal setting, some guy who is like the 50
They're
Shades Grey
creeps.
is fucking creepy as shit.
In a trailer.
You take any fucking billionaire, and I promise you, 99.9% of the women out there are gonna be like, "This is
Anything
so romantic."
sexy.
Yeah. So,
oh yeah.
yeah. So that's not a fair assessment of stuff. But I get it.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in a normal setting, that's
Correct.
like, you're going to murder me.
I mean, what he bought her,
Yeah.
giving her cars and helicopter rides. It's kind of like the Bachelor syndrome.
and then I'm going to hang
Yeah.
you from the ceiling.
That's right. The Bachelor
Yeah.
syndrome on the show. Everyone goes, yeah. It's like so romantic for the creepy guy or the idiot girl, but you're in like the most awesome setting. So that's not realistic.
That is true. But I think just the dominated thing, and I feel like Miss Polly, obviously her being a dominatrix, is very familiar with it. I wonder if Miss Polly likes to be dominated, though.
I bet she does.
We have
Fit in a
talked about that
I
situation.
forgot
before.
her answer. So
She does it both. She likes it all.
I think she likes it all.
Yeah,
freak.
she's like an absolute total freak. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Let's go question of the day.
now we know it.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Is it a deal breaker or is it fine if your significant other has a tattoo with the name of the ex?
Oh, one of my best friends is
shit.
dealing with this right now.
Wait, what?
On his ring finger.
Why?
As the wedding
was
ring.
he married?
Hmm.
All right, I can grasp that one.
But she has asked him several times, like, I am so sick of looking at this. Like, when are you going to get that removed?
How long have they been together?
A year.
And they're they're committed relationship, or
Yeah.
they're just dating?
Live together.
Oh fuck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would need
But
it
how
removed.
about that same person's ex has 2 full-blown pictures of her on his body? And he's
Oh, that's
dating somebody else.
right. That's right.
Wait, start back over.
Face
Like
and
a
everything.
self-portrait?
Okay, so yeah,
Yes.
my best friend who was my best friend is dating a guy who has his ex-wife's
yep, on his
name
ring
on his
finger.
ring finger as a wedding ring. Her ex-fiance has 2 self-portraits of her on his arm.
Face
Yeah,
and
but it has
everything.
nothing to do with her though.
What do you mean?
No, wait. No, am I not following this right?
No,
So
My best friend's ex-fiance,
Okay.
who she was engaged to,
Yeah.
while they were engaged, he got 2 portraits of my best friend on his arm.
Okay.
And he's with
They're no
someone
longer
else.
together.
okay.
So imagine if
Yeah, but he's no longer an equation, and
That's what he
that
decides
doesn't
to do.
matter.
But I
Outside of the
would
name
care.
of the thing.
Oh no. But if it was in your situation,
and you're dating someone.
let's say-
If I'm
let's say-
dating you
yeah.
and you have somebody else's face on your body,
Correct.
I would not like
But
that.
if your face
Correct,
is on
correct.
somebody else's
Absolutely.
body, do you care
But-
if he removes
But
it?
it's not that. I guess I was
No.
comparing it to that particular situation.
Oh, you're
Yeah, that's what I was only thinking there. But yeah, I would have a
All
fucking
of it.
total issue.
like, what if
Right.
who you're dating had a guy's portrait on
I
her?
don't want someone I'm dating to have a sweatshirt or something made of this. Get rid of it. 'Cause I don't care.
Exactly.
Because at my age, I'm old enough to where there is nothing there that there's
That's a
nothing
good
that
comparison,
Yeah,
actually.
it's-
Like, not even a shirt.
Yeah, like
get rid
I
of all
like
of it.
get rid of it. There's no reason you need to
Yes.
have that. Take my fucking sweatshirt if you want, or take my
Yeah.
whatever. Like I just don't think there. If you're in a committed relationship, like I don't have anything of my exes at all. I have nothing of my exes, and I would never ever keep anything just because there's nothing. I think it sets the wrong precedence.
Yes.
You know, if you're serious about somebody, at least that's my 2 cents.
So,
to it.
what would be the
I agree.
timeline of like a tattoo removal? Well, he's going to have to get that
Dude,
covered
a
because it's too
long
massive.
time ago.
But the name,
Marriage.
the name. Oh, when they get married.
See,
Before we get married, it needs to be gone.
For me,
Fair.
it'd be if we're serious. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, if
I agree.
if we're serious and you have
I
your
wouldn't
exes,
want to see it all the
Neither do I.
time. My
No.
It
God.
is very
No.
painful for her, actually. She is
Well,
so
yeah.
offended that it's not gone.
well, then
And-
that says a lot about their relationship.
yeah,
then.
and she's like, you can spend money on other things because I think
that's not even a
that
big
small
tattoo.
is,
That's
like,
easy
quick.
cover up. That's a real easy cover up.
And she really wanted it before her parents came in town for Thanksgiving because she lives somewhere else, and it still is not done. And I'm like, whoa.
Have you met him?
November.
Have you met the guy?
I have, but briefly, because she
So-
lives not in Dallas,
And where does he live? They live in the same city.
California.
They both live in California.
Yeah.
That says a lot. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. Fuck that. That says a lot about, it says a lot about how serious someone is.
I agree.
If you're not committed, then don't be committed.
Or live together.
Then that's kind of stupid on her part, though. I mean, I don't even know your friend, unless I know your friend, but that's dumb on her part. She should have, she opened the door for him to think it's okay. So why not drag your feet? If you're telling me it's okay by allowing it, don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying at this point, whatever, it is what it is. But I agree with you 150%.
It seems very odd. I mean, that's bad, but then if it's the whole face, I would freak out. I'm like, don't touch me.
Don't touch me with that arm until you get that covered.
Yeah, we had it was like a voiceover for a tattoo reality show thing where a girl had a threesome and had a tattoo of the 3 people involved on her. And the guy saw it and broke up with her immediately. I would
break up with somebody too.
That is insane.
Have you seen that new show on MTV? It's like the tattoo one. I'm like, why would you even let that happen? I don't get that show. But they tattoo, like you let somebody.
Vicious shit.
Vicious. Yeah. Somebody put like smelly vagina on like somebody's body.
What?
But you let is it a friend?
It's a
friend. Yeah, it's a friend or a family member or someone that you know.
And you don't get to see it, and then they reveal a tattoo, and like people are like fist fighting on that show. I'm like,
think of the show you're on.
Yeah, why would you even agree?
Yeah.
But
anyway, maybe they remove it.
So I think
we removal before you agree to go on.
So I think it's safe to say we all think it's bullshit to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Now, I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker when we meet, but there's definitely like a timeline.
I agree with you. It can't be a deal breaker when you meet because I don't know you. Like I don't know you well enough. You know if I like you. But I mean, if I'm talking only to the point of if it gets to where you guys are you get to the committed part where hey, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
You want to be with me. I don't even think immediately then it needs to be done. You just need to be consciously aware of it. I think because if you don't know anyone, even if you're seriously dating them for a little while. But I think once you get to the point of especially moving in together.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
See, for me, I wouldn't care. I bet y'all are surprised.
No, I'm not surprised.
But to me, like if I dated someone and I had to look at someone's name, I would be like, haha, I won.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it too.
Fuck that. No. That guy's still winning because I don't want to see it.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for coming, Miranda. This is
Thank
nice meeting you.
To glow if you
bronzed to glow, and we can't wait to get bronzed by her. And then we're gonna talk all about it.
Awesome.
On
Maybe we'll videotape it the whole time.
That'd be fun.
Great.
Yeah. Yes, let's do that.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.